What's up guys? So the first weekend beta for Call of Duty World War II has now ended, and it's not going to be back until September 1st, 2017. So I wanted to lay out some of the thoughts I had about the first beta. If you're a subscriber to GamingHookup, you probably have watched at least one of our excellent Call of Duty live streams that are typically streamed by Ace. He's the other owner of GamingHookup, and Ace is far better these days at Call of Duty than I am, partly because I play so many other games, and also because he's just really good at these games. But personally, I've been a Call of Duty fan since 2003 when the first Call of Duty was released. I even still have the original disc. And every year, like clockwork, I've stood in line at either Walmart or GameStop, and I've bought the latest Call of Duty on its midnight release. So I'm someone who has reached max level or prestige in every COD title that's been released until 2014 when Advanced Warfare came out. For me, the jetpacks, wall running, and energy weapons just felt too much like Titanfall or Halo, and since I preferred to play Call of Duty in the traditional sense, I felt like Sledghammer and Activision were more worried about catering to Halo fans and ripping off Titanfall's movement system than catering to the core Call of Duty experience that fans have been faithfully purchasing every year. The other problem I've noticed in this series since 2014 is that if you basically spam jumping or wall running, for whatever reason the game gives you some kind of unfair advantage over players that choose to play traditionally. If you go on YouTube and watch some of the best Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare players, you'll often see them spending most of their time in the air or running on walls. But this video isn't a rant about how bad or poor the last 3 or 4 Call of Duty games are. There's plenty of other places to hear that. From reading Reddit and other gaming focused forums, the consensus seems to be that the last good Call of Duty game was Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops. But for me, the last good Call of Duty was Black Ops 2 in 2012. 2013, Ghost was released and was universally panned for its mediocrity. But Ghost was the last boots on the ground title that didn't include a futuristic movement system. So technically, the new Call of Duty World War II shares more in common with Ghost than it does with any COD game since 2013, at least from a gameplay perspective. Now, even though I bought every Call of Duty title that has ever been released, since Black Ops 2, I've basically given up on trying to prestige or get to max level in Call of Duty. So naturally, when it was leaked that the next Call of Duty would stop trying to be Star Trek and would be going back to its World War II roots, I was pretty excited. The last few years, I've watched a lot of World War II documentaries, both the Allied propaganda and the pro-German propaganda, and I suspect a lot of other guys in their 20s and 30s have had a renewed interest in politics, and specifically the politics that led to the most devastating war in history. So this last weekend was the first time I was able to try the new Call of Duty World War II on PS4. And for the first hour, I couldn't help but feel that the movement system was so painfully slow. It would probably be a different situation if this was the very next game after Advanced Warfare, but we've now had 3 Call of Duty titles that have changed how we play the game. And even though I can't stand the playing style that allows players to fly 100 feet in the air and kill me cheaply, this feels like I'm playing a less memorable version of an old World War II based first-person shooter. But keep in mind that I spent more time playing Call of Duty titles where you couldn't wall ride or boost jump. Imagine how weird it must feel for players who don't remember the old Call of Duty titles from the early 2000s. They must have a horrible time getting used to how slow this game is. Another thing that I noticed is that unless you get double and triple kills at specific times in the match, you won't get featured in the final kill count. It's not a big deal, but if you just got the most amazing final kill before the match ended, you most likely won't get featured in the final match ending kill. It will be some guy or girl who killed 3 people in a row. I kind of see where they were going with that. You're almost guaranteed to see an impressive final kill cam, but it also means that the same top players are always getting featured and more casual players are less likely to get featured. I saw the same guy get the final kill cam 6 games in a row. There's also even more minor things like the time to kill, which is entirely too fast, and the pistols are just way too strong, but those will most likely be adjusted. Aside from the slow movement system, there's a couple of good things to say when it comes to the presentation. First, the sound effects are among the best I've ever heard in any Call of Duty game. In my opinion, Modern Warfare 2 had some of the best gunfire and explosion sounds in any FPS game. But I think they finally surpassed MW2. If you have a good pair of surround headphones like Siberia 800 or Astro A50s, this game definitely doesn't sound like a Call of Duty game. Explosions sound terrifying and resonate long after the initial explosion. Footsteps sound realistic, and depending on what terrain the enemy is running on, you can tell what they're stepping on. Each gun I tried had a very commanding sound when you fire it. I've gone back and compared my favorite guns in Infinite Warfare and the few guns I got to try in the beta, and by far COD World War II's guns are quite a bit more satisfying to shoot. It's too early to completely praise or condemn this game since it was just the first beta, but overall I enjoyed it. But the movement system may be too slow for some players, and we might see Black Ops 3 or Infinite Warfare maintaining a higher player base for a longer period of time. Now these are just my opinions. I'm sure Ace probably has different thoughts to share on his experiences as he still plays Infinite Warfare consistently. And this is only the first beta, so it's possible that any issues people have will be ironed out by release date. But I want to know what you think. Do you agree with my assessment? Let us know in the comments what you thought of the first beta weekend. This next weekend, the second beta of Call of Duty World War II will be available on PS4. If you want to party up with Ace and myself, add GamingHookup on PSN. I'm Recon, thanks for watching.